Remember kids, next time you're in a close quarters gunfight, just wear your hoodie for protection from anything. In my last video about The Division, I brought up the fact that I like the game's bullet sponge enemies and was quickly met with what I expected. A lot of people don't seem to be into this aspect of the game, but I wanted to ask why. Along with the dislike of these enemy types seemed to be a feeling that it makes the game unrealistic, but who said it had to be realistic? Now this video is going to come off as me defending The Division, but let's just look at The Division as an example. The Division's not perfect, but fun. It seems like the longevity in the game is going to be in its Dark Zone multiplayer, as the single-player portion can become repetitive, even though I still really enjoy the gameplay. That being said, this video is about a game having to be realistic. First off, let's talk immersion. One thing that people said again and again was the bullet sponge enemies took them out of the experience because it was unrealistic. How can somebody wearing a sweatshirt survive 4 shotgun blasts to the chest? He's not Superman, he's not the Incredible Hulk, what gives? Well, it's a game. Now you could say a game takes place in the real world, so it should be realistic, but do the developers state that, or is it just our own preconceived notions? Do you go into a game expecting it to be a certain way just because of games you've played in the past? For example, we have Skyrim that takes place in a fantasy world with magic and dragons and stuff like that. But if a similar game came out that had only realistic elements to it, would people find that weird? Actually, they might, and I think that's part of the problem people have accepting some games. They go in expecting one thing so much that they can't accept another and give it a chance. I think the most immersive worlds are the ones that decide what they are and stick to it, creating a set of rules for everything within one game. Dark Souls is a good example. I just recently beat Dark Souls 1 after 4 years. That was a game I got immersed in unlike any game before, but how? It's not realistic. It's got monsters and magic stuff. I got sucked in because I accepted the rules the world showed me. When you die, your body magically respawns at bonfires. Why? Some curse. Sure, whatever. I'll roll with it. Drinking yellow piss heals you like a good old trip down to the hospital. It's a game that created a world that I accepted, and in turn, it gave me an amazingly well-crafted experience based on the rules I was given. So if a game comes off as unrealistic, maybe you need to check how you should be thinking about the game, and not complaining about what the game should have done differently. I also know some gamers that can't enjoy a game for its mechanical design, like rules set in place for movement. Valkyria Chronicles is a turn-based strategy game where you control soldiers on a battlefield, but they can only move a certain distance each turn and then they have to wait. A friend I showed this game couldn't understand and kept asking why. Why can't they just move? What's fun about that? I don't understand. The way I kept explaining it to people in the comments was with chess, a game I actually love quite a bit. Bring it on, chess masters. Anyone in the comments? Bring it on? Bring it on? Yes? No? Yes? Anyways, in the game chess, you have a horse that can only move in L shapes, and a king that can only move one space at a time. That's not realistic, though. Horses can move all over the place, and kings can walk. So unrealistic. Come on! But this was a game meticulously designed over thousands of years to be a fun and challenging experience. And while modern game design doesn't take that long, I would like to think these designers playtest their games and figure out what's best for the experience they're trying to create. That all being said, I don't mean you're wrong for not liking a game. And yes, we are still talking about The Division, but this could apply to any game. If you don't like the way something plays, that's fine. Not every game is for every person, but I saw an overwhelming amount of people that sounded like they had been cheated and lied to by this game somehow. In the year 2016, there is no reason to be uninformed about a game unless we were straight up lied to by the developers. But with The Division, that's not the case. Every nobody with a YouTube channel is making videos about these games and discussing every aspect of them. For example, look at this asshole who talks about games as if he has any clue what the fuck he's talking about. Number 3, bullet sponge enemies. Yeah, really. Now I hear over and over again when this game comes up, ugh, bullet sponge enemies, this is garbage. Shut up! All I'm saying about this is we have more access to news and information about a game before we buy it than any generation before us. So do your research on a game before you buy it. You can see that it's designed to be an MMO. You can see that the enemies are bullet sponges. If you're disappointed by key features that were designed to be that way, well, that's your problem. That's your fault for not looking up what was very easy to find. One last thing I saw a lot of people say was, well, this is a Tom Clancy game. It should be all about realism. Now, I've really got to hand it to Mr. Tom here. I've never read any of your books, good sir, but you sure had some insight. You know, Michael Jackson released a few songs after he passed away. Hell, Tupac had full albums, but Tom Clancy was designing games years in advance. Games with cutting-edge graphics in 2016. I'm joking, but Tom Clancy does have his name attached to this game, so that's why people instantly expect it to be a realistic shooter. Yeah, because this is realistic.
Take him down!
Yeah, spot on. The Division doesn't go this over the top, but still, you get what I mean. Just having a name doesn't excuse assuming what it will be. Tom's name is on Tom Clancy's End War Facebook game interactive experience. It's pretty safe to say it doesn't really mean much anymore. So with this video, I'm basically saying open your mind a bit to different experiences you aren't used to. So many wonderful experiences can be locked behind your suspension of disbelief, but giving new things a chance might open you to a whole new world. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I just wanted to make a little follow-up to The Division. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that like button if you want to support the show, and subscribe to the channel if you're not. Also, check out Culture Shock Network on Twitch, guys. We stream every week, so I'll see you on there. I'll see you on the next video, guys. Have a good one.